Hey everyone out there in YouTube land, this is Annette Dion, host of the Psychic News Network. It is Friday, August 27th, 2021. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're doing well and you're getting ready for a good weekend. Here in New England, it's been brutally hot, even like 80 degrees at 9:30 at night, last night. Really astounding. But it's going to get a little cooler tomorrow, so we're all looking forward to that, and I hope you are going to have an awesome weekend. Let's get to the news. There's so much going on. There's so much going on that's not very happy news that we all have to get centered somehow, and we really have to, and I mean have to. We got to keep our cool about us in this heat. We have to keep a cool head. There are ways to do that, and I want to encourage everybody to do a meditation practice. If you have an anxiety attack because you're picking up on the collective anxiety, stop everything. If you're driving, pull over to the rest area and take several long, slow, deep breaths. I know that sounds so simple that it couldn't possibly be effective, but let me tell you, it changes everything. So don't get caught up and swept away in the difficulty of picking up on the collective energy, and even if you're being affected personally by what's going on, this is unprecedented in terms of energetically, what we've been exposed to in the course of our lifetimes. It's peaking. It's really big. It's really a lot. It's like every news story has the potential to produce like a traumatic response. And if you suffer from PTSD, if you've had a lot of trauma in your life, people that have had a lot of trauma really do need some tools. So don't plow through this. Don't attempt to plow through it without tools, like natural tools. Like, I even notice if I for some reason don't get some time outdoors, or I do long walks daily, sometimes runs. If I don't, there's a pretty palpable difference. So it does really help to have decompression, activities, things that you do that make it feel good. If you can distract yourself with movies, hobbies, comedy. I always recommend comedy. Okay, let's get to what's going on. For some reason I have misplaced always misplacing things. I don't know what's up with that, but I do want to show you something. I'm going to use the Hanson Roberts deck tonight, but before I get started on the news, here's the flyer for tarot classes. Hammond Castle Museum, tarot classes. We're taking sign-ups. Go to Hammond Castle. I know it's hard to see that, but hammondcastle.org to sign up. At the end of the course, you'll be a certified tarot card reader. Of course, you have to practice after that, but you will have gone through all the cards and understood them. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be really entertaining. Yours truly is teaching it. So let's ask the cards about Afghanistan. Unfortunately, I do see more explosions, and I see quite a significant amount of more casualties. The other night when I was talking about Afghanistan, I was saying that it's messy, and we all are seeing that it's very messy. There's no easy way to extract troops out of a war zone. Troops and refugees and helpers, interpreters that help the U.S. troops. There's no easy way to end this war. And, Joe Biden had a lot of courage. He's been in government for 50 years. He had a lot of knowledge too. And I did mention the other night that there was some that he didn't know, he couldn't know. And he was fed misinformation also. So Joe Biden did what he did a little bit blindfolded. But I really kind of sense he's a Scorpio, and people that have Scorpio energy, people that are Scorpios or Scorpio rising, like I have Scorpio rising, are very, very much going by, kind of shooting from the hip a little bit, just going by their feelings. So he had a strong hunch that this had to happen. He didn't have all the intelligence that he needed to make it happen smoothly, but then by the same token, it wasn't going to ever be smooth. I heard a number of how much that war has cost per day, and it's in the millions. It's in the hundreds of. I'll look it up and I'll share that with you. It's an exorbitant amount of money per day that America has sunk into that war. And if you go back and you look at the timeline of from September 11th, 2001 until 2021, it's pretty mind-boggling that we haven't ended that war yet. I remember George W. saying mission accomplished after what was the first month? Yeah, right. There's a lot of money being made on these wars. Just, you know, let's leave it at that for the moment. Just a little while ago I started a video and it cut out and just shut down, so that I adjusted some things. So maybe I was saying too much in that last one and the guides shut me off. So I'm pulling cards. These are different cards. This is a Hanson Roberts deck. I think this is an Italian deck. This is a really good deck. I guess it was time to change it up because I lost my other cards. I'll find them right afterwards. Okay, so the Queen of Swords and the Chariot and the Ace of Cups. This is going to be, in the whole scheme of things, it's a 20-year war going into the 21st year, I think. Yeah, right about that. The Chariot is, this is a fast-moving withdrawal. It's a fast-moving evacuation for the refugees, for the Afghans who are escaping. It's going to go very fast, but there will be more death. There will be more casualties. Please, at least take a moment of silence and send a prayer to Afghanistan and to our government. And I'm not going to go on pontificating. I just want to say, I want to express my feelings about the Republicans that are just constantly taking the other tack. And now there's the Republicans, some of them are saying we need to keep the war going. Why do the Democrats always have to like undo all the damage the Republicans did? I don't know. Forgive me if you're a Republican, but that party is not what it was meant to be. Anyway, the Queen of Swords. I see some, it's not overwhelming, but I see some aid for the women. I see some aid coming in for the women that's very significant. It doesn't look like it's coming from America. But I see, you know, like rushing in aid, like emergency aid to the women in Afghanistan happening. So that's good. Did you hear the Taliban? They're so evil that they were bombing, I don't know when this was, but they were bombing maternity wards. This is like a level of evil that we can't comprehend. So, you know, we don't want to dwell on it too much. We want to just pray for the best. You know, we as individuals didn't start the war. I didn't want the war. A lot of people didn't want the war. We didn't really have any control over that. What we do have control over is our own energies. Okay, so keep it light. Focus on the light. The Ace of Cups means that actually, after all the tragedy and turmoil that we're going to see, I had said the other night that I felt like after about a month and a half, I think that's what I said, and after not too much time of a lot of devastation and death, unfortunately, we will have ended the war, and now it will be time to, at that time, it will be time to rebuild. And way down the line, like 5 years down the line, I feel like Afghanistan is going to be in much, much, much better place. Remember, the Afghan women were liberated. I mean, we did go in, and America did go in, and they had some semblance of freedom. The women did, as a result of, you know, soldiers fighting for democracy. It wasn't all nefarious, but there was a lot of money made on this war. Watch the movie Vice that came out a few years ago. It'll give you all the insight that you need. The company Halliburton comes to mind. So, yes, war is the military-industrial complex. You know, we need to move to a time in this world where it's not all about greed and the almighty dollar, because you see what that's doing to our human civilization. Greed and the almighty dollar are destroying, just literally killing. We'll get to the light stuff momentarily, I promise. Yeah, but it really is like that. It's just, the other day I was thinking, imagine this. Imagine an existence. Imagine being in your life with nobody coming at you with selling something. How many spam text messages do I get a day? I think it's up to 20 now. Feels like it. Imagine an existence where nobody's coming at you for money. I mean, like, you know, buy this, buy that. I mean, things that you don't need. It's constant. I mean, I look at the size of the SUVs, you know, that are still being advertised on TV going, really? Really? Gas guzzlers? When the planet's burning, literally burning up? I mentioned Lake Tahoe the other night. I mentioned being very concerned. I think I called it the canary in the coal mine. I think, we'll take a look at Lake Tahoe. I think we're going to lose it. I think that whole area is just, the guides are showing me kindling, just up in flames. And those poor people that rely on the tourism, and that's a really big vacation spot. And yeah, the Three of Pentacles, they're going to have to rebuild. And I mentioned that I saw some engineering marvels. This is the Nine of Swords. This is a lot of devastation. A lot of devastation. I do see federal money going to the Lake Tahoe area, and I do see money to hire the best scientists. So this infrastructure bill must have included in it scientists who are going to help to rebuild the area where all the wildfires have been once they go out. I do see rain in the forecast, just enough to dampen things. A lot of what's happening with these wildfires is not only global warming, but poor planning and development. That is rampant in this country. To have such short range thinking, to not consider how the environment will respond to development. And that's just, it's a big problem. Yes, it does take a disaster. Like I say, it does take a disaster for people to, you know, when you have no other alternative but to change, that's when we change. It's like the momentum, the energy has to build up to such a point. It's called the tipping point, right? Malcolm Gladwell has that book, The Tipping Point. Pretty good book. So, let's look at voting rights. They're having a big march on Washington. It's the 58th anniversary of the march on Washington for civil right, for the right to vote, for African Americans to have the right to vote. And yeah, so it's a big deal tomorrow. In the meantime, Mr. Abbott over there, and gosh, it's funny, the guides just showed me Governor Abbott as a total dictator. I'm not saying that he's going to win being a dictator. I mean, win win a lot of fans being a dictator, but he might have had a past lifetime as a dictator, Governor Abbott, because the guys are showing me Governor Abbott has a dictator mentality, just like 45. That is a certain way that the brain is wired. So I have the sense of Abbott being like a terrible toddler having a tantrum. Kind of like 45, right? Yeah, I know the voting rights got taken away in Texas. But the guides are telling me it's not a stronghold. It's not a stronghold. What's happening in Texas with voting rights, I know the Democrats had to come back, but they did, you know, good for them. They made a really strong statement. And I feel like the Texas Democrats that went to Washington to save voting rights in Texas, that was not all for naught. That was not a fruitless thing to do, because I actually, the guides are showing me, they went, they were present, they spoke their case, and to the Biden administration, when they came back, the guides are showing me it had a snowball effect. So when the Texas Democrats came back from Washington, D.C., because they finally had to, I mean, they had families and jobs, right? Even though it looks like Abbott got his way, he didn't. I'm just getting that he didn't get his way. And he's just hanging on. The more he has to fight, Abbott has to fight for his nefarious, laws and terrible ways that he governs. Even though he's hanging on to that, I don't see it having a hold. I don't see it being able to hold. So when the Texas Democrats came back, I see rallies. I see that because they showed their level of commitment, I see rallies. I see people in Texas really rising up. When somebody's really doing hard work for doing the right thing and, fighting for a cause, and you see them up there and they're brave and everything, I feel like when they came back, people wanted to help them even more. It's my long way of saying that. The guys are just showing me this is short-lived. What Abbott's doing is short-lived. So don't you worry your little heads, but do speak out. Do show your support. Do contribute to Act Blue, or, I know I don't have Republican fans on this channel. Why would I? I love everybody. I just know that we have differences of opinion. I just want the right thing to be done. Picking cards about that. Yeah, like I said, at first it's going to feel like, oh no, we're trapped, we're stuck with this dictator, Governor Abbott. First it's going to feel like that. But look, I have the Justice card. I remember I said not too long ago that Merrick Garland was going to step into the voting right restrictions and voting rights being taken away in Texas. I feel like Merrick Garland is going to step in. I got the Justice card. That's a really good thing. The Queen of Cups, this is a sense of things building, things brewing, things, the democracy kind of brewing again. So I think the March on Washington that's happening tomorrow on the 28th, plus the Democrats in Texas, all of the Democrats in Texas really getting on board, I really think we're going to see some things happen. And you know what? When people get protesting and it's like for the right thing, for justice, and it's huge numbers of people, it's very motivating for the rest of us. It's very inspiring and very motivating, and a lot more people will show up. So that's what's going on there. So speaking of governors, I wanted to look at Governor Newsom in California, because there's a guy, his name is Elder. I guess he's a really right-wing, horrible person. And here's the thing, using the Taliban as an example, I know that seems like a jump, but let me show you the connection. Using the Taliban as an example, when people are radical, they're more tribal, they have more energy for what they're fighting for. I know it's strange, but if they're fighting for the wrong thing, they actually have kind of like more energy. They're more energized. They have more oomph. I do know that people are talking about the Democrats in California have got to get out and vote and they're too complacent. I don't see that complacency among Democrats lasting much longer. So let's see what's going to happen to the governor in California who's, they're trying to recall him, and, it's interesting. These Republicans want to get rid of the people that are doing a good job. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, during one of her rallies, she said something about impeaching Biden, and it wasn't a big crowd, if it's any consolation. They gave her a standing ovation. It's like, Biden is doing as good a job as anybody possibly could, especially given the circumstances. The hand that he was dealt it's fraught with problems, right? So, back to Newsom. The governor of California, what's going to happen there is, I'm just going to ask, is Newsom going to win? Is the governor of California going to win this recall thingamajiggy? It's going to be a battle. There's going to be a lot of heartbreak. But I think he's going to win. There's going to be a lot of distress, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's going to look really tight. So here's the challenge, the Five of Rods. But you know what, when this card comes up, it's a Five of Rods and it's a challenge, but it's like, this is a card that says, it will make everybody stronger. It's resistance training, and it'll be not fruitless, that they fight the good fight. I see people seeing what they stand to lose if he were to be recalled, but I don't see him being recalled. The Emperor, the governor of California will remain the governor of California. Gosh, who wants all those problems that California's having? Let's go to the other sunny state. Well, there's been so much, you know, Afghanistan has really been, of course, all that breaking news I was telling you a week or so ago, that we're going to see breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Yeah. Afghanistan has been, of course, in the forefront of the news. So what's going on with Desantis hasn't been in the forefront. But like I told you a little while back, I see him being called out and hauled away. Is that symbolic? I'm looking for my pendulum. I'm done looking for things. I was looking for my pendulum. Is that, the guides are saying that's actual. I see him arrested. I'll just say it. I see Governor DeSantis of Florida arrested. What the heck is that? I don't know. The guides say it's not symbolic. It's real. For what? Oh, I did say a while back that there were many lawsuits against him, DeSantis. And there's lawsuits against Abbot also. I'm just getting, they're both in big fat trouble. Oh yeah. Okay, this is angel intervention. This is the angel intervention in Florida. This is about DeSantis not getting his way with not allowing a mask mandate. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. It's about the children. He's going to be in big trouble about these not letting schools have mask mandates. DeSantis is going to be in big trouble for that. It's the mamas. It's all the mamas and the teachers, which are mostly women. I mean, I'm not saying like men aren't teachers, but a majority of the women teachers are gonna. DeSantis is gonna have his day not in the sun. I'm telling you, it's so strange. I dropped a card. Hang on. Happens almost every time. Okay, but I do see angels. So I'm getting Archangel Michael is taking DeSantis down. He's going to be removed from his position. Oh, I'm just getting, the guides just said January 6th. Oh, that's interesting. Let's look at that. We haven't looked at that for a while. Hasn't been in the news a lot. It's kind of like the news that's under the main news stories. The January 6th commission. Oh my gosh, I just see like arrests. I literally see arrests. That's a first. That is a first. I literally see arrests around the insurrection of can that be true? I just gotta tell it like they're telling it to me. I see arrests of GOP Republicans around the insurrection. Wow. That's my noisy air conditioner going on, and thank you to you guys for saying it's okay that you don't want me to melt. So I kept it on today. I won't need it so much tomorrow. Or when I come back, I probably won't need it. I don't know, who knows. I think it's still going to be hot. This is, okay, well, I'm asking about the insurrection. I'm asking about the January 6th commission. What's going to happen there? This is our journey away from difficulty. This is a fight from the GOP Republicans. What you're starting to see with these Republicans that are terrible people, it's interesting. With everything, it's like you say black, they say white. You say yes, they say no. You say tomatoes, they say tomatoes. You know what I mean? It's just like they just are contrary just for the sake of being contrary. That's how they are. But this is different. This is about the insurrection. They are going to fight, and say, no, I didn't, no, I didn't, no, I didn't, did not, I did not. And they're going to have a, sorry, it jumped out of my hand again. We have a journey away from difficulty here. Sorry. There's too much energy in this room. I'm telling you, they move things too. We will be looking at what happened on January 6th, like, because the people that will be made accountable, the people that are guilty of leading that insurrection, that are in public office, will be held accountable. I'm telling you, they won't be able to hide. There's too much on them. There's too much hard, fast evidence. And I'm talking, remember a while back I said I saw a video camera, a surveillance camera on January 6th on Kevin McCarthy. We haven't heard from him for a while, huh? I think he's kind of keeping a low profile too. It's not just because there's other news. I see cameras. I see Marjorie Taylor Greene leading a group. I see that Boebert chick leading a group. They have video. You don't get much more hard evidence than that. Much more undisputable evidence than that. That's insane. Oh my gosh. Well, it's good news. So while we're on the topic, what about 45? Not sure if I mentioned that I saw him on Sean Hannity. I think I did. I was talking about how Sean Hannity always kind of acts like 45 is saying something that actually makes sense, and he's like, he has these thoughtful moments, Sean Hannity does. I think Sean Hannity is sick of this. I get a sense from Sean Hannity that he's tired of this, having to pretend that 45 has a brain. The orange one's health is really bad right now. It's really bad. I see 45's health being very bad right now. I'm getting, like, the guides are showing me, like, fat, like, like if you're frying bacon, and I don't eat bacon anymore, but fat. The guides are showing me lard, and I think the guides are just showing me that to indicate that 45 is really, I feel like he's all clogged up, like his arteries are all clogged up, and he's so not healthy. Not healthy. And all this stress, the word psychosomatic doesn't necessarily mean someone's faking being sick. Psychosomatic means, to me, and the way I'm using it right now, he's having psychosomatic symptoms. So what I mean is, like, what all this is pressing down on him is pressing blood pressure, turmoil, inflammation, fat. I see a lot of fat. Maybe he's gotten fatter. Really unhealthy. Wow. The hangman indicates that 45 has discovered that he's turned over every stone. Interesting choice of words, Roger Stone. He's turned over every stone, so to speak, to see what can be done to get him out of this. 45 has, but he has no solution. That's the hangman. The Four of Cups, he had an opportunity to do the right thing and he didn't. Once again, the Three of Rods. Bye-bye. It's over. His 45's reign is over. I would be surprised if he did more rallies. I wouldn't be, like, totally surprised, because he needs that for his ego to feel like he's somebody. How sad is it that he doesn't feel like he's anybody without the rallies, the recognition. And unfortunately, he doesn't like those people. It's very sad. The whole thing is very sad and pathetic. It's hard to look at. But yeah, this is 45, like, he's got nothing left to defend him. And I know he's collecting money from his fans, but it's not enough. It's not enough to pay his legal fees. That's what I get. Okay. Should we talk about COVID, or have I talked enough? Let's just take a peek. I see the vaccination numbers skyrocketing. I see a lot of people. The guides are showing me 85% of people will be vaccinated. I don't see a government like mandate for all people. I don't. I see people not needing to get vaccines if they have a medical condition and if they have a religious reason. However, the rest would be about 80-85%. I really do feel like we're going to reach that level of vaccinations. Oh, okay, couple more things. So I guess we're going to go longer. Let's look at COVID, and then we're going to look at weather, because there's some scary weather stuff coming up. All right, I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so COVID, what's going to happen? I keep on getting the Three of Rods. It was so interesting. It's like some of these things that we're going through. Now, this is news. This is good news, actually, around COVID. And I really do get that 85% of the population. I get that. I'm picking that up. 85% of the population will be vaccinated. This is the Ten of Cups. It's going to be about saving families. So saving children. So I do see children being vaccinated too. This is news about something new coming. And some of this, the really high COVID numbers, they will, I'm not going to say they're going to come down, because they're not going to come down right away. I'm seeing not until the spring will we see COVID numbers really coming down substantially. They're still going up. But the Three of Rods is kind of looking at, oh man, boy, did we really screw up. We really need to get things on track, so that the end of misinformation about COVID, the end of misinformation about vaccinations, enough people are going to wake up. So it's just going to be like taking the long way, though. That's the only thing. Taking the long way, learning the hard way, basically. So before I go, I have to tell you that there's a hurricane just about, I don't know what day, but there's a hurricane just about to hit Louisiana. I want to leave you with good news, but I can't. Well, I can follow this up with good news. Good something. When Hurricane Katrina hit, and then afterwards, it took a long time, but they rebuilt New Orleans. The whole time they were rebuilding New Orleans, I'm like, I just remember I was like, why? It's just going to go underwater again. On the Weather Channel, I saw that hurricanes that start with the letter I have been the most devastating. And those, you might know this, those hurricanes that start with the letter I, several of them have been retired. And this is an I, this is Ida, right after Henri, that we, by the grace of God, got a pass on here on the coast of Massachusetts. Ida's going to be really tough. Ida could be the one that causes New Orleans not to be rebuilt. It's really bad. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. I did say that I saw 8 hurricanes this hurricane season. Pretty scary ones. All right. It's terrible. I know. It's bad. Ah! Always pray to your angels and your guides. Help us out. Yeah. This is exactly what I was talking about. This is like, they really, I understand the engineers, they all wanted to save New Orleans and build the levees are broken, rebuild them and Lake Champlain and what all that they rebuilt. Well, they got a few good years. It's going to be a total balancing act. I see people needing to relocate permanently. Too much of a burden. Let's pick one more card about that hurricane. So sad. New Orleans is under sea level, I think, right? Joe Biden will get with all his people and make a plan. I really feel like in this infrastructure bill there's a ton of stuff about remedying, having remedies for all the destruction around global warming. And it's going to get so expensive that finally the big oil is going to get the picture and realize people don't want to support them anymore. And then they'll change. I think that's all I have for you today. That's over 35 minutes, so I think you can go now. And if you stayed with me the whole time, thank you. AnnetteDion7@gmail.com is where to write to book a reading. I do have time in the next couple days to do a psychic tarot card reading for you. Don't forget tarot classes from an actual medieval castle here on the coast of Massachusetts. HammondCastle.org to sign up, register online to take it live stream starting Wednesday, September 1st. And AnnetteDion7@gmail.com is also where to write to if you have any questions about the class. That's it. Have a great weekend. I might see you Sunday, maybe Sunday, and probably. All right. Love you all. Thanks for your nice comments, and see you soon. Namaste.